Hello everyone, welcome to our group. This is our Ask Geology group, a whole new way to understand our mother earth. So, today we will only discuss about our application, about our Ask Geology group. Okay, so all of you know this is our Ask Geology. What is that? This is our website. Okay, um, this is our website. This is our link tree. You can go all our WhatsApp group, Instagram, in YouTube, Telegram, and Facebook. So these are the courses that we are providing. So let me just tell you ki, what are the courses that we will be providing here. Okay, so right now we are running this IIT Jam batch, GSI batch, GATE, and CSIR net. Okay, so these are the first batch we are going to run. Geology optional, it will be merged in GSI batch. Okay, then GATE crash course, IIT Jam crash course, CSIR net crash course. These are the upcoming topics or upcoming courses that will be launched very near to our exam. Okay, maybe October they will be launched. So right now this GSI means CSIR, NET, GATE, and GSI. In GSI you will be provided with GS prelims. For prelims the GS paper will be there, polity, economy, physics, chemistry, whatever else. And GATE, it is fully focused only on GATE. And if it is CSIR net, then that will be included GATE plus of net. All of you know in GATE syllabus there are so many of topics, and if we include the oceanography and climatology, then that will be included in the CSIR net batch. Okay, because net batch, it is constituting more topics, more subtopics than GATE will be very typical, isn't it? And IIT Jam, this is the only IIT Jam batch, no problem. Okay, so let us see what are the various topics that we will be covering here in GATE batch. Okay, in GATE batch, what are the topics? Crystallography, that is there. Crystallography, mineralogy, optical mineralogy, engineering geology, fluid inclusion, and geothermobarometry. You can see this fluid inclusion and geothermobarometry. These are very specified topics. Okay, for these things to understand, you must be very clear about the background, how fluid inclusion is helpful, what is the use of studying fluid inclusion, what is geothermobarometry. In fuel geology you will be covering the coal geology and petroleum. All of you know in GSI there is a particular section representing this fuel geology, coal and petroleum. In general geology is there geochemistry and isotope geochemistry. You can see there is another subtopic, that is the EH-pH relationship. In a particular environment, whenever you are studying something, then those are the stability of a particular element in a particular environment, that is dependent upon the EH and pH condition, the oxidation reduction, or you can directly call that redox condition. Okay, redox condition. If you are just simply telling that after great oxidation event superior iron ore deposit was there, so why that deposit happened, or what is the stability of a particular element in a particular environment. Someone is telling that क्या बोलते हैं, arsenic water में आ जाता है. Then why, in which condition the arsenic will be dissolved in water, what condition the dissolution will happen, and at what condition. This, whenever I am talking the condition about a stability of a particular element, okay, element in the form of ion, then that is dependent upon this redox condition. What is the EH condition, what is the pH condition. And right here we are just neglecting some other aspects, like what is the salinity, what is the temperature, what is the pressure. We are neglecting these conditions. Okay, so geochemistry, in geochemistry all of you know geochemistry is comprised of, one is your stable isotope geochemistry, then what is your radiogenic isotope geochemistry, थर्ड में आ जाएगा तुम्हारा कॉस्मोकेमिस्ट्री, फोर्थ में आ जाएगा तुम्हारा ट्रेस एलिमेंट जियोकेमिस्ट्री. इट हैज़ एप्लीकेबिलिटी इन द इग्नियस जियोकेमिस्ट्री, इग्नियस पेट्रोलॉजी, ट्रेस एलिमेंट जियोकेमिस्ट्री. सो वी आर कवरिंग लाइक दिस: स्टेबल आइसोटोप जियोकेमिस्ट्री, रेडियोएक्टिव जियोकेमिस्ट्री, देन ट्रेस एलिमेंट जियोकेमिस्ट्री, कॉस्मोकेमिस्ट्री. In cosmochemistry, what are the subtopics that we will be covering? In cosmochemistry, we will study the nucleosynthesis process, how this Big Bang theory happened, how the elements get formed, Those are the parts of this cosmochemistry. Goldsmith classification of elements, how they are being partitioned into different layers: crust, mantle, core, and inner core, outer core, like that. Okay, in stable isotope, the classical stable isotope CHNSO, carbon, nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. These are the classical stable isotope geochemistry. But right now we are studying chlorine, boron, iron. There are so many of unconventional stable isotopes are being studied. Okay, in the radioactive geochemistry, uranium, thorium, lead, potassium, argon, SMND, samarium, neodymium, SMND, RBSR. These are the various types of like these are very important, and those are being utilized nowadays. Okay, and trace element geochemistry, which trace element will be found? For example, niobium and tantalum. These are the two trace elements that are characteristics of your subduction zone, isn't it? So these are the some minute implications of studying this type of disciplines in isotope geochemistry. EHP is the stability related. General geology will go and see isostatic theory, और भी बहुत सारे चीज़ें हैं. फ्यूल जियोलॉजी, कोल पेट्रोलियम, फ्लूइड इंक्लूजन, जियोथर्मोबारोमेट्री. इंजीनियरिंग जियोलॉजी में फॉर एग्जांपल क्या क्या होता है? इंजीनियरिंग जियोलॉजी में रॉक का प्रॉपर्टी तुम पढ़ोगे, एंड यहाँ पर जो इम्पोर्टेंट है क्या बोलते हैं, व्हाट इज़ द मोहर सर्किल, and what is the structure whenever you are going to build some structures, big structures like कहीं पर हो गया पुल हो गया, ओके, ब्रिज या फिर टनल, and what are the rock properties या फिर soil properties that you will be studying to make such type of structures over there, है ना. Mineralogy, optical mineralogy, and today we will discuss about crystallography and mineralogy. I will tell you something and I will show you some sources from which we will be studying. Okay, because crystallography, mineralogy, in my point of view, these two things are very much important, because if you are very much clear about crystals, then you will know something about the minerals, because minerals are nothing but they are supposed to crystallize in a particular crystal system, and right now we have 6 crystal system. If you can see 7 crystal system if you consider the trigonal to be a separate crystal system. Otherwise you can simply tell that 6 crystal system. So all these minerals in nature, they are expected to crystallize in these 6 crystal systems. So to understand the properties of minerals, crystallography is important. And why? Then there are so many of questions that why only 6 crystal systems? Okay, why not 7 crystal system? Why not 8? And how many numbers of minerals are there? Is there any mineral that which is not crystallizing in this 6 crystal system? And another thing, whether this 6 crystal system, they are subdivided into further categories or not, isn't it? That's why crystallography is very important. In crystallography you will see the 32 point group projection, how this projection is being utilized. 32 जो crystal projection होता है ना, projection is used in crystallography में भी use करोगे crystallography, and in structural geology also you will use the stereographic projection. Then what is the utilization of this stereographic projection? And if projection is used in crystallography and structural geology, then what is the difference or what is the similarity between these two things? Okay, then crystallography, that's why crystallography is very much important. Then knowing the crystallography, you will be very much familiar to the what are the minerals. In minerals you will see the physical properties and optical properties, and after a mineral then you will go to the rocks, because all of you know what do you mean by a rock. Rock is a natural aggregate of minerals. Okay, so whatever the rock, कोई सा एक rock को to identify a particular rock, then you need the minerals, only the minerals, their assemblages. So mineralogy is very much important to understand the rock, whether it is igneous rock, metamorphic rock, or sedimentary rock, because rock is nothing but a natural aggregates of minerals. That's why minerals are important to know the petrology. ठीक है, mineralogy is very much important. All of you know that is what is the M1 site, M2 site. All of you know M1 site, M2 site. What are these things? Anyone? Anyone know about this? What is these things? M1 and M2 site के बारे में किसी को पता है? M1, M2 site, M3, M4, A site, K site. These are the various types of site in mineral structure. Okay, if you don't know, then obviously we will browse something. Then these are the GATE syllabus, and these are the syllabus that we will be covering. Whether it is GATE or GSI, I don't know, but we will covering all these things. And finally, geodynamics and plate tectonics. Geodynamics, plate tectonics, normal, what is the convergent, divergent, transform, current scenario में कहाँ कहाँ पर है, and in within plates whatever the dynamics is happening, and this geodynamics will be utilized for reconstructing the हमारा इंडिया कैसे बना. Okay, all of you know, if it is your India na, if this is our India, then remember this whole India is not one single part. Okay, all of you know ये बीच में एक तुम्हारा CITZ है, सेंट्रल इंडिया टेक्टोनिक जोन. ऑल ऑफ यू नो CITZ. नीचे तुम्हारा यहाँ पर एक, दिस इज योर पांडियन मोबाइल बेल्ट, पांडियन मोबाइल बेल्ट, एंड देयर आर सो मेनी ऑफ कन्वर्जेंस. यहाँ पर सिंघभूम श्योर जोन है. हियर यू कैन फाइंड सिंघभूम श्योर जोन. हियर यू कैन फाइंड दिल्ली अरावली फोल्ड बेल्ट. हियर यू कैन फाइंड द बुंदेलखंड क्रैटन. सो like this Indian subcontinent is not like it is a single piece. It was fragmented earlier. Okay, it was fragmented earlier. Then one very interesting question, then finally they just call sense, they came apart, came just close and formed our India. Okay, one interesting question is that in Rajasthan, all of you know, in Rajasthan there are so many of sand. There are so many of sand. Then how this, from where this sand came, such a huge volume? वहाँ पर समुंदर था क्या? Is there any sea over there? So these are the various interesting questions that a geologist can answer, because whenever geologists are talking, they are talking in millions of years. Millions of years. Okay, geologists are ऐसे ये छोटे मतलब खेल नहीं है. Geologists are like, geology is a science. All of you know what is science. What do you mean by science and hypothesis? If you are telling something, गांजा फूंक लिए उसके बाद कुछ बोल दिए, then that is hypothesis. If you are giving some proof to your hypothesis, you are providing some scientific explanation, then that is science. Science without proof is hypothesis. If your hypothesis has a very tough proof, then that will only be considered as science. Okay, we are considering that 4.5 billion. 4.5 billion year, 2.5 billion year, 570 million year. At this end, this is the PCC boundary. 4.5 billion Earth was formed. Okay, universe was formed 13.6 billion year. So these are actually scientific things. That implies we have provided proof to this whatever we are telling. Okay, these are scientific things. Geology is a science. Okay, and whenever we are talking about millions of years, then we are just simply telling with proof. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर जियोडायनामिक्स पढ़ोगे, कैसे कन्वर्जेंट हुआ, कैसे डाइवर्जेंट हुआ, एंड हाउ दिस कन्वर्जेंट डाइवर्जेंट डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ प्लेट बाउंड्री एंड डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ प्लेट टेक्टोनिक वर रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर डिफरेंट ओर्स टू बी फॉर्म्ड इन डिफरेंट टेक्टोनिक सेटिंग्स. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल porphyric upper deposit. For example, porphyric upper deposit, it is supposed to be found along the convergent plate boundary where ocean continent convergence is happening. Okay, porphyric upper deposit और तुम्हें कहीं पर नहीं मिलेगा. If some porphyric upper deposit is there but you don't find such convergence, ocean continent convergence, then what does it indicate? It is indicating that initially when this porphyric upper deposit were formed, at that time maybe some ocean continent convergence might be there, but till now it is not there. Ancient convergent plate boundary होगा वहाँ पर, अभी नहीं है. ठीक है, जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी, देयर विल सी एओलियन लैंडफॉर्म, फ्लूवियल लैंडफॉर्म, ग्लासियल, डेल्टा, हर एक चीज़ वहाँ पर देखेंगे. एंड एडवांस्ड जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी में क्या देखेंगे? इन एडवांस्ड जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी दोज थिंग्स, लैंडफॉर्म इवोल्यूशन कैसे हो रहा है. ओके, स्टैटिस्टिकली हाउ यू विल डिफाइन, हाउ यू विल रिप्रेजेंट द चेंजेस ऑफ योर लैंडफॉर्म विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू टाइम. ओके, जैसे कि हमारा सरस्वती एक रिवर है, सरस्वती रिवर था. नाउ दिस सरस्वती रिवर हैज चेंज्ड इट्स कोर्स. देन ये अपना कोर्स चेंज कर लिया. ओके, विथ अ पर्टिकुलर टाइम सरस्वती रिवर हैज चेंज्ड इट्स कोर्स. देन व्हाट वाज द इम्प्लीकेशन? व्हाई इट चेंज्ड इट्स कोर्स? ड्यू टू टेक्टोनिक अपलिफ्टमेंट. Now in advanced geomorphology, this factor is coming that what was the change in gradient? Numeric value. You have to make some models. You have to make some numerical analysis, statistical analysis. Okay, if for example bifurcation ratio of a particular of a river. Okay, branching ratio of a river. Then these are advanced thing, advanced geomorphology. So उसमें भी थोड़ा बहुत चीज़ें देखेंगे, but geomorphology basically we will cover. In geophysics, all of you know geophysics, that is the gravity method, magnetic method. Gravity and magnetic method are called potential method. Gravity and magnetic, these two methods are called your potential method. देन इन इलेक्ट्रिकल मेथड में आ जाएगा तुम्हारा रेजिस्टिविटी, आ जाएगा SP, IP, देन EM इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक, ठीक है, बहुत सारे इलेक्ट्रिकल में बहुत सारे आ जाएंगे. उसके बाद देन यू विल कम टू सेस्मिक रिफ्लेक्शन, सेस्मिक रिफ्रैक्शन, GPR, ग्राउंड पेनिट्रेटिंग रडार. सो दीज आर द वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ जियोफिजिकल मेथड्स व्हिच आर बीइंग यूज्ड टू अंडरस्टैंड द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ योर सबसरफेस. ओके, जियोफिजिक्स अभी एक्सप्लोरेशन के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा यूज़ किया जाता है. Without geophysical exploration, you are not going to find anything, because whatever the ore deposits are forming, they are present below the surface of earth. And in conventional geology, you can go up to some meter, you can penetrate up to some meter. Okay, if you are going for drilling also, then you will go for up to some depth. Okay, then the thing is that if economic deposit is happening at around 8 kilometer depth, for example, in 8 kilometer, this is basically the case for hydrocarbon. So to detect the presence of hydrocarbon, the saturation, what is the volume of hydrocarbon that is being stored there, okay, uska yield हमें निकालना होगा. Then for these type of things ना, we need geophysical exploration, seismic reflection survey वहाँ पर करना ज़रूरी है. For example, और एक चीज़, the use of seismic refraction. Okay, कहीं पर पुल बनाना है, we just want to make a bridge. So there you can go, you have to get some soil samples, rock samples, then you will have to study that what is the strength, overall strength, है ना. strength देखने के बाद then what will be the structure, उसका thickness, कितना mass it can bear, what is the overburden it can withstand, because pool is a very great structure ना. So यहाँ पर you can use the seismic refraction, that up to which depth the strength of your rock, your strength of your soil is being intact. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे सेस्मिक रिफ्रैक्शन सर्वे किया जा सकता है. सेस्मिक रिफ्रैक्शन इज ए सैलो सेस्मिक, इट इज कॉल्ड सैलो बिकॉज द डेप्थ ऑफ पेनिट्रेशन इज अप टू some tens of meter. ओके, इन हाइड्रोजियोलॉजी में तुम पढ़ोगे वाटर का क्वालिटी, वाटर का कैरेक्टरिस्टिक, फ्लो, डार्सी लॉ. एंड इन हाइड्रोलॉजी देयर इज वन इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग फ्रॉम द डार्सी लॉ ना. Darcy law, that is Q is equal to KADH by DL. You can put a negative sign over here. All the formula related to whether it is steady flow, unsteady flow, radial flow, confined aquifer, unconfined aquifer, everything, all those formula can be derived from this Darcy law. Okay, and all of you know this Darcy law, iska representation, there are various types of representation of this Darcy law. Okay, there are various types of representation of your Darcy law. When you are just Q is equal to KADH by DL, then we are representing the Darcy law in terms of head difference. When we are talking DH by DL, this is basically head difference. Del H is equal to H2 minus of H1. So in terms of head difference, we are calculating whatever the volume of water that is being discharged, what is the hydraulic conductivity of the aquifer formations, if they are present in series, parallel, along, across, vertical conductivity, ये है vertical, ये horizontal conductivity. All these parameters, they are being expressed in terms of head difference. Okay, जैसे ग्राउंड वाटर पंपिंग हो रहा है, पंपिंग होके कितना पानी बाहर जा रहा है, कितना पानी अंदर रह रहा है, then what is the head difference. Starting from that, then you will be able to calculate these various types of parameters. Okay, igneous petrology, very important. igneous petrology में बहुत सारे बच्चे क्या करते हैं कि डायरेक्ट जो जंप इनटू द फेज डायग्राम. ओके, igneous में बहुत सारे लोग क्या करते हैं, डायरेक्ट फेज डायग्राम को जंप करते हैं. बट द थिंग इज दैट अगर फेज डायग्राम को जंप भी कर भी लिए, चलो जंप कर लिए, नो प्रॉब्लम, दिस इज डाइव-साइड अनर्थाइड सिस्टम. ओके, दिस इज डाइव-साइड अनर्थाइड, सिंपल बाइनरी यूटेक्टिक. Then my question is, why we are studying these things? What is the implication of these things? Because there are so many of binary diagrams, then why we are just basically focusing on this dive-side anorthite system या फिर fosterite silica system? फोस्टेराइट SiO2 सिलिका सिस्टम, या फिर डाइऑक्साइड फोस्टेराइट एंड दिस इज डाइऑक्साइड फोस्टेराइट सिलिका इन टर्नारी डायग्राम. व्हाई यू आर फोकसिंग more emphasis, why you are just emphasizing these particular diagrams? Why not rest? Because there are so many of binary phase diagram you can find out, but why this dioxide anoxide system, or why this phosphorate silica system? Okay, and igneous petrology में और एक important चीज होता है igneous का classification. On which basis igneous classification are being done? Okay, इसमें phase diagram तो important है ही, उससे पहले you will have to know that what are the various types of rocks, in which rock group they are being classified. What are different types of rock? Plutonic rock, volcanic rock, hypobasal rock. What is the similarity or what is the differences between these plutonic, hypobasal and volcanic types of rocks? Okay, is there any mineralogical changes? Is there any textural changes? Then how these rocks are being formed? Because whenever you are considering igneous petrology, we are referring to a solid and liquid system. The system which is constituting solid and liquid. Then how this solid is being formed? If you are crystallizing something, you are just dropping down the temperature, then how the liquid will be crystallized into solid? Okay, and if there are some 2 or 3 or multiple number of solids are present inside the liquid in liquid form, then when they crystallize, then the sequence of crystallization, what will be the sequence of crystallization if the liquid is containing more number of solids, different types of solids? Okay, then if they are, for example, this is 200 degrees centigrade, this is the crystallizing temperature of solid A. Okay, then the range of crystallization, it can crystallize from 200 to 100 degrees centigrade, but in between some 180 degrees centigrade, the crystallization of B is coming into picture. So if there are multiple number of solids, then is it possible to crystallize simultaneous 2 or more solids at a time? And if simultaneous crystallization of 2 or more solids are happening, then how will be that solid, how it will look like? Okay, how it will look like and how they will grow, individual solids, how they will grow. Then there will come the concept of your texture, intergrowth texture, how this intergrowth texture is happening. If another things, if I just change the temperature, then bimodal cooling effect अगर तुम you are just changing, then 2 stages of cooling, 3 stages of cooling. Simple cooling में crystallization कैसे हो रहा है, intergrowth texture कैसे हो रहा है, exsolution texture कैसे हो रहा है, so different types of textures कैसे आ रहे हैं. ठीक है, ये तुम्हारा फेज डायग्राम के बेसिस में चला जाएगा. एंड अगर तुम कोई एक रॉक देख रहे हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल ग्रेनाइट, बहुत सारे घर में भी ग्रेनाइट यूज किया जाता है, देन हाउ दिस ग्रेनाइट हैज फॉर्म्ड. Okay, how this granite has formed, how gabbro has formed, why this basalt is considered to be the primary magma, why we are considering basalt to be primary magma. And if basalt is primary magma, then why not we are getting basalt everywhere, why we are getting granites also? Then what is actually the concept behind it? Fractionation हो रहा है, crystallization हो रहा है, what actually those things trying to explain? है ना, कोई रॉक को देख के तुम्हें कैसे पता चलेगा कि ये कैसे फॉर्म हुआ होगा, isn't it? यहाँ पर भी ये जियोलॉजिस्ट जो है ना, ये भी एक CID के जैसे हैं. They will have to find out that what could be the possible cause. Is there any trend? मतलब कुछ ट्रेंड फॉलो कर रहा है कि नहीं. ठीक है, जियोलॉजी इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग गाइज. उसके बाद इंडियन स्ट्रैटिग्राफी में हर एक चीज पढ़ेंगे. इंडिविजुअल फॉर्मेशन को पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है. दैट हाउ दिस बस्तर क्रेटन हैज इवॉल्व्ड, हाउ दिस सिंघभूम क्रेटन हैज इवॉल्व्ड, how this Pandian mobile belt has evolved, how this CIT's Central Indian Tectonic Zone has evolved, how this Indo-Gangetic Plain is evolved, what are the changes that is happening, what is the rate of erosion, everything. Indian stratigraphy कहाँ पर craton है, कहाँ पर mobile belt है, we will have to study these things in very great detail. Remember, whenever this or economic geology, or and economic distribution, it should be correlated with Indian stratigraphy. Okay, because in any interview if you face, then they will ask you some questions in Indian perspective. But many or geology or geochemistry, whatever book you follow na, Indian examples are very less, because they are not the type example. All of you know what is the type example. टाइप एग्जाम्पल ये सब और फोर ये सब चीज़ों में पढ़ाएंगे. ठीक है, इग्नियस के बाद इंडियन स्ट्रैटिग्राफी पढ़ेंगे. उसके बाद मेटामॉर्फिक पेट्रोलॉजी में द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ थर्मोडायनेमिक्स इज इंपॉर्टेंट. थर्मोडायनेमिक्स, गेट के एग्जाम में जो क्वेश्चंस आएंगे या फिर सीएसआर नेट के एग्जाम में जो क्वेश्चंस आएगा ना, कुछ कुछ यार इसका शॉर्ट फार्मूला, सम शॉर्ट फार्मूलाज आर देयर, इफ यू जस्ट प्रोवाइड दोज थिंग्स ना, then you can find all the answers to your questions. But the thing is that in interview these things might not help you to a, it cannot help you to a great extent, because conceptual चीज़ें इंटरव्यू में बहुत सारी चीज़ें आते हैं. थर्मोडाइनेमिक्स पढ़ना बहुत ज़रूरी है ना. इफ आई विल सिंपली से dp by dt is equal to del s by del v, क्लैपेरॉन इक्वेशन, g is equal to h minus of t del s, ये पढ़ लो, हो गया. जितना भी क्वेश्चन आएगा गेट में, जितना क्वेश्चन आएगा ये दोनों में हो जाएगा. और 2-3 फॉर्मूला है, जैसे कि डेल एक्स मिक्स, एंट्रोपी, चेंज इन एंट्रोपी ऑफ ए मिक्सचर, ये सब चीज़ें कुछ कुछ ऐसे चीज़ें हैं जो कि लाइक सिंपली यू जस्ट टेक दोज फार्मूलाज, पुट द फार्मूला, गेट द आंसर. बट द थिंग इज दैट द कॉन्सेप्ट विल बी, इतना ज़्यादा नहीं हो पाएगा ना कॉन्सेप्ट. एंड और जियोलॉजी इज पेपर 3 in GSI. Next batch we will just launch the course for paper 3 and paper 4, that is the ore geology and hydrogeology. Ore geology is very important. I am telling again, ore geology is very important, and you cannot directly go to ore geology. Before going to ore geology you will have to be very clear idea about the igneous, metamorphic, sedimentary, hydrothermal and surfacial process. Surfacial process means in ore geology how this ore will be formed. Directly from magma से crystallize हो सकता है. That implies you will have to have very clear idea about igneous petrology. Igneous ore forming process is there. Metamorphic ore forming process is there. Sedimentary ore forming process is there. Hydrothermal ore forming process is there. Surfacial process, weathering. Whenever we are talking about surfacial process, then you will have to very clear idea about weathering, chemical weathering, physical weathering, these type of things. Hydrothermal, that means temperature, pH condition यहाँ पर आएगा. Sedimentary ore forming process, you will have to be very clear idea about the sedimentary जो भी sedimentary domain में, sedimentary petrology domain में जो भी चीज़ें आते हैं, you will have to very clear idea. Metamorphic, igneous, so you cannot directly jump onto the ore geology, है ना. Before going to ore geology you will have to master yourself in igneous, metamorphic, sedimentary, hydrothermal and surfacial process. This is not very easy. And exploration, this is for GSI people. Exploration, क्या exploration? And economic geology में क्या होता है? Economic geology में distribution in Indian distribution. And what are the other things related to economy? Market price, LLPL, कहीं पर तुम्हारा लीज दिया जाएगा, कितना है, कैसे उसको आइडेंटिफाई करोगे, what are the processes, ये सब चीज़ें, ये सब GSI के सिलेबस में है. ठीक है. आ जाएगा पैलेंटोलॉजी, माइक्रोपैलेंटोलॉजी, वर्टिब्रेट, इनवर्टिब्रेट्स. माइक्रोपैलेंटोलॉजी इसमें इंपॉर्टेंट होता है तुम्हारा सिलिशियस, RSD, ठीक है, कार्बोनेट्स, कैल्कारियोस, फोरामिनिफेरा, ओस्ट्राकोडा, जो भी हैं. रिमोट सेंसिंग, GIS एंड GPS के बारे में बहुत सारे बच्चों को क्लियर आइडिया नहीं है. बहुत सारे बच्चों को क्लियर आइडिया ही नहीं है. रिमोट सेंसिंग सबको पता, सबको होता है कि रिमोट सेंसिंग मतलब GPS, GIS. नो, रिमोट सेंसिंग इज अ डिफरेंट डोमेन. GIS इज डिफरेंट, GPS इज डिफरेंट. बट द थिंग इज दैट वी ऑलवेज ट्राई टू integrate all these things to get like promising results. रिमोट सेंसिंग चाहिए हमें. रिमोट सेंसिंग कैसे हो रहा है, व्हाट आर द सेंसर प्लेटफॉर्म, कहाँ पर जाएगा, व्हाट आर द एटमॉस्फेरिक इंटरेक्शंस दैट आर हैपनिंग विद द सिग्नल, व्हाट इज सिग्नल टू नॉइज रेशियो, व्हाट इज फिल्टरिंग, ये सब चीज़ें रिमोट सेंसिंग में. आई कैन टीच यू DSLR. DSLR के बारे में हम तुमको पढ़ा देंगे. बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जो कि तुम्हें पढ़ना पड़ेगा, है ना. सेडिमेंट्री एनवायरनमेंट, ये तुम्हारा GSI का सिलेबस है, छोड़ दो इसको. देन सेडिमेंट्री पेट्रोलॉजी, एवरीथिंग सेडिमेंट्री पेट्रोलॉजी. सीक्वेंस स्ट्रैटिग्राफी, देखो इसको मैं अलग सा डोमेन बना के रखा हूँ, बिकॉज सीक्वेंस स्ट्रैटिग्राफी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड इन सीक्वेंस स्ट्रैटिग्राफी टॉप लैप, ऑफ लैप, बॉटम लैप, फोर्स रिग्रेशन, ये सब चीज़ें, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं. देन स्ट्रक्चरल जियोलॉजी एंड वेल लॉगिंग. स्ट्रक्चरल जियोलॉजी, इसको मतलब फॉर गेट स्ट्रक्चरल जियोलॉजी इज सो भास्ट. बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं इसके अंदर। स्ट्रेन कैसे मेजरमेंट किया जाएगा, स्ट्रेस कैसे मेजरमेंट किया जाएगा, स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन के बीच में रिलेशनशिप क्या है, इन हमारे अर्थ का स्ट्रक्चर कैसा है, स्ट्रक्चरल जियोलॉजी हम क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं, तो ये सब चीज़ें यू विल हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड। एंड इन वेल लॉगिंग देयर आर वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ लॉग्स, वो तुम पढ़ सकते हो, ठीक है। वेल लॉगिंग भी मैं ही पढ़ाऊँगा। सो व्हाट आर द टॉपिक्स दैट आई विल बी कवरिंग, आई विल टेक योर क्रिस्टलोग्राफी, देन मिनरलोजी, igneous and metamorphic का some part, then ore geology and structural geology, then geophysics and logging. Maybe not 100% about these things, but I will take some of these parts, like the fundamental things I will be covering. Okay, so I think you will obviously enjoy my classes. So before that चलो हम तुमको देखते हैं क्रिस्टल के बारे में कुछ बताते हैं, ठीक है। लाइक व्हाट आर द sources that we will be using to teach you things. You can see, ये देखो, ये एक मिनरल का स्ट्रक्चर है, देख रहे हो, दिस इज वन मिनरल स्ट्रक्चर। ये सब, ये डायग्राम क्यों है, ये डायग्राम क्या है, व्हाट दिस डायग्राम्स आर ट्राइंग टू टेल, है ना। और ये वाइट क्या है, ये CA07, ये क्या है, ऑक्टाहेड्रल साइट, टेट्राहेड्रल साइट, हाउ दे आर बीइंग ट्रांसलेटेड, कॉर्नर शेयरिंग, एज शेयरिंग, है ना, पॉइंटिंग डाउनवर्ड, पॉइंटिंग अपवर्ड। तो ये सब चीज़ हम पढ़ेंगे, सब चीज़ पढ़ेंगे इन दिस सेंस, बिकॉज these things are important for your visualization, है ना। whenever we are talking about a mineral structure, then that mineral structure is a 3D structure. in mineralogy या फिर structural geology, whenever if you are not able to imagine, then problem हो गई भाई। सो इमेजिनेशन बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। देखो, इट इज़ SI ऑफ अ टेट्राहेड्रा, नाउ यू कैन सी दिस इज टेट्राहेड्रा, दीज आर द ऑक्टाहेड्रल साइट्स, हाउ दे आर बीइंग अरेंज्ड। एंड अनदर थिंग, दिस ग्रीन कलर, ओनली दिस सेंट्रल कैटायन जो है, दैट इज ओनली बीइंग डिपिक्टेड हियर, है ना। ओनली सेंट्रल कैटायन इसको दिखाया गया है, समझ रहे हो। और ये जो ऑक्टाहेड्रल साइट, इसका क्या मतलब है, इनसाइड दिस ऑक्टाहेड्रल साइट देयर विल बी वन सेंट्रल कैटायन। देख लो, ये सब चीज़ें हम पढ़ेंगे, डिफरेंट क्रिस्टल स्ट्रक्चर, क्रिस्टल सिस्टम, सिमेट्री एलिमेंट्स, ये सब चीज़ें हम पढ़ेंगे। I will also teach these things. In the application, you can check, there are so many of things that I have included in crystallography and mineralogy. And another thing, in YouTube also, in YouTube you can find all these crystallography revision. In that, if you have read something about crystallography, then that revision classes are also sufficient to tackle all type of questions in NET, GATE, GSI, everything. Crystallography and mineralogy, all like the spectrum of classes are present on YouTube on mineralogy. There are some around 20 classes, and which are like, you cannot find any questions that are out from these 20 lectures, because it has been covered so depth, इतना depth में इसको cover off किया गया है, like you can find each and everything except the physical properties, like उसका हार्डनेस क्या है, स्ट्रिक का कलर क्या होगा, क्लीवेज कितना होगा, these things are not included. But in this mineralogy classes I have already focused on the structures, because those structures are very much important, है ना। तो ऐसे ही तुम्हारा क्रिस्टलोग्राफी मिनरोलॉजी होगा। हमारे क्लासेस में बहुत सारे वीडियोस अपलोडेड भी हैं, यू कैन गाइज, इफ़ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड देन यू कैन गो एंड चेक, and obviously stay connected with us, and if you are interested then obviously you are welcome to our group. और एक बात बता सकता हूँ, you can see this is by just scanning this barcode ना, you will be directed to our website. Our website is there, Ask Geology WhatsApp group is there, Instagram is there, YouTube, Telegram, Facebook, and this is one what is that, Google Drive, where selected books are uploaded. You just download and save those files. And there is our Ask Geology, ये ऊपर, ये पुराना वाला है, ये ऊपर हमारा है क्या है, Ask Geology download. You can download from our application from Play Store. This application is only available in Play Store. We don't have the access for Apple Store, iStore. Okay,